Hi everyone. So what do you think 3.14 means? Well, one thing it could mean is March 14th, and these are the first three digits of pi. So March 14th is called Pi Day. And so it's PI for this kind of pie. But I've got some pie to eat here. And that's what we're going to look at today. So when you get into the upper grades, you'll learn more about the 3.14. But we're going to use these pies to talk some more about fractions. So I've already eaten 2/6 of the chocolate pie. And whenever I get ready to cut this apple pie, I'm going to eat about 1/4 of it. I want to eat a little bit less of it. I really like chocolate pie, and so I ate a little too much of it, so I'm going to try not to do that with the apple pie. So I've got 2/6 and then 1/4. So I want to know how much total pie I'm going to eat once I've eaten both of these. And so since I want the total amount, I know I'm going to have to add these. And we can't add these until we get common denominators. So there's a couple of different ways that we can do that. These are not multiples of each other, so I can't use the multiple method where I only have to change one of them. But I can, find the least common multiple of 6 and 4, so I can change both of them. So if I do that, I can count my multiples of 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. And then if I count my multiples of 6, I've got 6, 12, and I already see I have a common multiple. I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit past that. So then I would get 18. And then if I add 6 more to that, I'm going to get 24. So I can actually see on the list that I've got 12 and then also 24. So if I want to use the least common multiple, I'm going to use 12. So my common denominator is going to be 12. So now I'm going to create my equivalent fractions. So whatever I multiplied 4 by to get 12, I have to multiply the numerator by the same number. And so that's going to be 3. Because 4 times 3 is 12, so I have to multiply 1 times 3. If you'll notice that 3 over 3, that's equal to 1. So that's also showing, we're just multiplying by 1. So we're going to get the same amount, even though we have more pieces. But the actual amount is going to be the same. So 1 times 3 is 3. So 3/12 and 1/4 are the same amount. They're just cut up differently. So then here, 6 times what gives me 12? So that's going to be 6 times 2. So I have to multiply the numerator by the same thing. So 2 times 2 gives me 4. So now I've got common denominators, so I can add 4/12 plus 3/12, which gives me 7/12. So I'm going to end up eating 7/12 of a pie. And if you notice, that's actually a little over half a pie. So I may need to rethink how much I'm going to eat of this apple pie. And this time our mystery word is actually going to be the number for pi, the first 3 digits. So our mystery number is 3.14. You'll have a few more to do on the form. So make sure you check to see if you need to find a common denominator. You can use the least common multiple. And then I'm actually going to show you real quick one other method. So this other method, if you don't find the least common multiple, we've talked about this too, where you can actually multiply the two denominators to get another common denominator. So if I multiply 4 times 6, I get 24. And if you'll remember, 24 was on our multiple list, but it's not the least common multiple. But I can still use it if whatever I do to the denominator, I do the same to the numerator. So 4 times 6 gives me 24, so I have to multiply 1 times 6. So that gives me 6/24. And then here, 6 times 4 gives me 24. So I have to multiply the 2 times 4. And that gives me 8. So if you'll notice, I've multiplied 4 over 4, and this denominator was 4, and then 6 over 6, and this denominator was 6. So that's a pattern that you can use. So if you get stuck and you don't know what the least common denominator is, you can always multiply to get a common denominator. So now I've got 8/24 plus 6/24. That gives me 14/24. So 14/24 is equal to 7/12. And I can show that by dividing by a common factor of 2. Since they're both even, I can divide by 2/2. And that gives me 7/12. So both of these are correct. They're both equivalent. If they ask for the simplest form, then we would need to use 7/12. All right, so take your time and do the problems on your form.